KURINJI Senior Secondary School, CBSE, Namakkal.
Successful result producing school in state every year.
Administered by the Board of Directors with over 35 years of experience in the teaching field.
Special attention on art, craft, music, dance, silambam, yoga, skating and karate.
Focus on Hindi Sabha and Spell Bee Olympiad exams.
Smart class for effective and innovative learning and well-furnished library.
Solitary importance on sports and games in state and national level.
WhatsApp facilities to know activities of students and school inside the campus.
NEET, JEE, IIT coaching experts from Rajasthan and Andhra Pradesh along with our effective teachers.
Admission registration for classes LKG to +2.
KURINJI Educational Institution, Kavetipatti, Namakkal. Admission in progress. CBSE, KG to 12, contact 9025895176. Metric 6 to 12, contact 9344567484. For online admission, log on to www.kurinjischoolnkl.com.
Hi students, good evening to everyone. This video I would like to explain about brain. Already 3 videos you all are got regarding the control and coordination, regarding the neural control and coordination. In the first video, how human brain and advanced organisms brain is developed, or what characteristics, based on the what characteristics we seen. Later, second video regarding what is the important structure in the brain tissue, okay, neuron structure that we seen. Later, we discussed about introduction of brain, okay, what are the major parts of our system, nervous system, neural system or neural system, whatever it is. In that neural system, what are the divisions, okay, central nervous system or peripheral nervous system, like that we classified. In that about brain we started, that too first content regarding the brain divided into the 3 parts, forebrain, hindbrain, and in between of the forebrain and hindbrain, midbrain is there. Okay, first forebrain completed. Now this video I would like to explain about midbrain and hindbrain. Let me start today video session. See now, human brain. That human brain consisting with 3 major parts. The 3 major parts are forebrain, midbrain, and hindbrain. Forebrain also called as a prosencephalon, midbrain mesencephalon, scientific terminology, and hindbrain that rhombencephalon. Now in the forebrain, again it is divided into the 3 parts. Last video already you got olfactory bulbs related to smell, sense of smell, olfactory epithelium presence in nose, that is responsible for that olfactory epithelium giving the information through the sensor neurons to it will receive olfactory bulb. Then cerebrum, when I am explanation about the cerebrum is a major part in our brain. That major part divided into 2 lateral halves, 2 halves. The 2 halves we called as a cerebral hemispheres. That cerebral hemispheres, outer side cortex, inner side medulla is there, that you see. In this cerebral hemisphere connecting to each other by that one nervous tissue, that only we called corpus callosum. That is one of the significant character here. This is a corpus, this is the forebrain, this side one part, another side, after that side, if you imagine this is the lateral side, other side another half, these are totally cerebral hemispheres. That cerebral hemispheres connecting with a connection, that is a corpus callosum. Here this is the olfactory bulbs, the anterior part olfactory bulbs. Here I doesn't mention, but this is the olfactory bulb. Okay, so what is these functions? Cerebral hemispheres functions are more important for memory functions and investigative functions, communication functions totally under these cerebral part. Okay, cerebrum. And as like this word, another word also will come in the midbrain, that is cerebellum. Okay, right, on that time I will explain. So this is a cerebrum. Later another part, diencephalon. Diencephalon is a last part of a forebrain. The diencephalon again partition into the three regions. One is a epithalamus, second one is a thalamus, third one is a hypothalamus. In this hypothalamus is a important role in the nervous system and endocrinal system, because pituitary gland is origin from the hypothalamus. So pituitary gland under controlling by the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus is a major role. And on last video I said regarding the hypothalamus, this one is a thermostat, temperature controlling, our body temperature controlling by the hypothalamus. And thalamus and epithalamus time we discussed, epithalamus is a non-neural part, but it is containing with a important structure, that is a pineal body. It is playing important role in the rhythmical work. I mean our biological clock will be controlling by the pineal gland. Later in that coordination time, chemical coordination chapter time we will discuss. Okay, this is about forebrain. Then come to the midbrain also called as a mesencephalon. This mesencephalon basically containing with two important parts. One is a ventral portion, another one is the dorsal portion. Ventral portion, dorsal portion. This ventral portion having the important structures, that is a cerebral peduncles. Cerebral peduncles. These cerebral peduncles are located at the place of the cerebral hemispheres with the fons, in between the cerebral hemispheres and the fons. Basically, if you see in this diagram, this is the forebrain part, this is the hindbrain part, this is the midbrain part. Now here these midbrain, here I mentioned, I think this is the midbrain. Okay, below the corpus callosum. So this midbrain part presence in between of the, this is the fons. This is the fons varoli na? Fons varoli. And this place cerebral hemispheres. So it is located in between of cerebral hemispheres and then fons varoli. That you have to remember. And these midbrain dorsal part, upper, and ventral part one thing, dorsal part. That ventral part it is containing with the cerebral peduncles, and the dorsal portion containing with the corpora quadrigemina. Quadra means 4. Corpora quadrigemina, 4 parts, 4 equal parts are sharing that optic lobe. How many lobes are there? 4. In midbrain. That too in which position? Dorsal portion. This is a corpora quadrigemina regarding to the optic lobe. Optic means it is a useful for eye. Okay, vision, nothing but vision. So based on this statement, you can conclude about midbrain play an important role in the vision. Okay, then the cerebral for audible. So Midbrain function is visual and then auditory functions respectively by the situationally. Okay, that is a midbrain. Okay, then next one hindbrain. Hindbrain, that hindbrain also called rhombencephalon. Rhombencephalon. These hindbrain again divided into cerebellum and fons varoli, later medulla oblongata. Here in the next column I will explain. Here medulla oblongata, these are the three parts, cerebellum and fons varoli and medulla oblongata. Now come to the cerebellum part. It is a hindbrain part, and this brain part we call as a little brain. Little brain, especially it is a more important part. This part is located in the cranium backside, in cranium backside, occipital condyle. These occipital condyle you seen in that you studied about on bone in the cranial bones. On the time the occipital condyle ulla the brain part, that which part it is present, cerebellum part it is present. So whether you know or doesn't know, our father generation people, they are saying like father mother generation people don't beat on the back side, or any, if you see anything movies also, any fighting time the persons will beat with a stick in the back side of the head. Why can't any other places? Here if you beat it in the back side, the little brain will damage. If the little brain will damage, mean automatically we lost our total memory power, our body totally communication, body function things are everything will disturb. So that only happens in the movie in the last 10 years back, a Gajini movie. Okay, so little brain that much of important. Okay, our memory loss totally will be spoiled. Okay, see that it is a little part, and then in the brain, second largest part in brain, first largest part, then first largest part belongs to forebrain cerebrum, correct na? Second largest part cerebellum. So same, these two are something similar words, but something spelling mistake ille, spelling difference. First one cerebrum, second one cerebellum. So cerebellum is equal to hindbrain part. So now these cerebellum part, second largest part in brain, these as like cerebrum, cerebellum also having the two equal parts. That are two equal parts we call as a cerebellar hemisphere. Cerebellar hemisphere. Cerebellar hemisphere. These cerebellar hemispheres connecting with the vomer, connecting with the one part. So see these cerebellar hemisphere and central vermis, these are the two parts in cerebellum. So each cerebral hemisphere connecting with again containing with three different parts. There are three different parts. One is anterior part, and then posterior part, and floccular part, cerebellum. Nana, these parts I can't able to show in this diagrammatic representation. Okay, when we are in model classes, on the time by the images, I will explain about this. So up to that, theoretically the part names we have to remember. So central vermis and cerebellar hemisphere. In this cerebellar hemisphere divided into the three regions, anterior part, posterior part, and floccular part. So totally it is covered with one white color, grey color matter. That grey color matter we called as a arbor vitae, a core. Here see in this place, this is the cerebellum. cerebellum middle position, something white color part we see na, that grey color matter. That grey color matter we called as a arbor vitae. That arbor vitae surrounded to outside by that middle cortex, cerebellar cortex. How cerebrum is having the two regions, outer side cortex, inner side medulla, like inner side here instead of the medulla that we call grey color content matter we called as a that arbor vitae, just that appearance just like a tree head position. When your childhood tree diagram drawing time, you are drawing that something tree leaf like structures, that and all imagine like this image, the seems like this. So here the tree like structure we called as a arbor vitae. The tree like structure surrounded by that cerebellar cortex, outer part cortex, that you have to remember. That is about cerebellum. Later fons veroli, another part of the hindbrain. Fons veroli, it is a relay station. It is located between the cerebellum and then spinal cord. Relay station mean any nerve impulse are going out by these point only, fons veroli. Okay, nothing but in shipyard one checkpoint is there. By that checkpoint only whatever it is anything is coming out, through that check post onwards only it will come. Like that from our brain onwards, what are the nerve impulse are coming out, that process totally relaying by or releasing by these fons veroli. So that's why fons veroli we consider as a relay station, and these fons veroli located in between of the cerebellum and spinal cord. Okay, this is the spinal cord. That this one fons veroli, seen on this is the fons veroli. So fons veroli be present in between of cerebellum, this cerebellum, and then this is the spinal cord. So in between of it is present fons veroli. These fons veroli play an important role, and it's contain the very sensory part. That sensory part functionative for we called as a pneumotoxic center. This I think so when I am explaining about respiration and controlling of the respiratory movements, I used this word pneumotoxic center. These pneumotoxic center is playing important role in the regulating of the respiratory functions. Our deep breathing and inspiration breath depth want to increase or decreasing, that and all everything under controlling of the pneumotoxic center. It is an autonomous nervous system. Okay, their own self they are controlling. So that's why these pneumotoxic center controlling respiratory rhythmic function. That respiratory rhythmic function is influences or fluctuation, any fluctuation are basing on requirement changes for respiration events it will control. Okay, then next one medulla oblongata. It is the third part of the brain. In that third part medulla oblongata, the third part of the brain, hindbrain, not only that is a third part, it is a posterior part of the brain. Posterior, that means last part of the total brain. Total our brain divided into the forebrain, hindbrain and midbrain and hindbrain. In hindbrain, medulla oblongata is the last part. Along with that total brain last part medulla oblongata. So it is a posterior part of the brain. And it is extended from fons veroli and then continue in between of spinal cord. Nothing but These medulla oblongata located in between the fons spheroli and spinal cord, but that medulla oblongata, if it is prolonged in the form of the spinal cord. Now this is the time in bone explanation time, cranium part explanation time, occipital having the one hole, that hole we called as a foramen mugunum. Along with foramen mugunum hole, these spinal cord medulla oblongata will come out, goes through the vertebrae. Totally we have the vertebrae on dorsal side. Along inside of the vertebrae, some place is there. Through that space, this spinal cord is going to up to coxal bones. So totally these posterior part of the brain extended between the fons spheroli and then spinal cord, it's continue in the form of the spinal cord. Here very most important one, important statement we want to remember. Midbrain, second part of the brain, and fons spheroli in hindbrain second part, medulla oblongata in hindbrain's third part. The combining of these three structures, it will form the one base of the brain. That base of the brain we called as a brain stem. Just imagine it, how when you see the biggest trees, a big stem, it gives the support of the total tree. As like here, if you see, this is the brain in this diagram. This is the diagram. In this diagram, this is the medulla oblongata, and then this is the fons spheroli. These fons spheroli attaching with the midbrain. These midbrain, fons spheroli and medulla oblongata base of the total brain. Base of the total brain. So that's why combining of these midbrain and fons spheroli and medulla oblongata, we kept the name as a brain of stem of brain. Okay, that's next. In the brain, four cavities are there, four empty places. That means if you see in these diagram, some regular places, especially first cerebrum only na, later in the midbrain, later cerebellum. These are the parts. In these three parts, it's containing with empty places, cavities. That cavity filled with one fluid. What are that cavity names? Now I want to discuss. Before that, totally diagrammatic explanation of this. Seen on here, this is the brain, this is the forebrain divided into the three regions. One is the olfactory lobes, later cerebrum having the two parts, cerebral hemisphere, that's all. Later diencephalon, this one this. In this place, diencephalon again divide into the three parts, thalamus, hypothalamus, epithalamus. Epi means upper, thalamus middle, hypo means down, hypothalamus in the pink color. Now here yellow color finger like projection is there. Now one say button is seed, like that type structure. This is the pituitary gland. Okay. Later, this middle position, it is a midbrain, and above the midbrain, one nervous tissue is there. That nervous tissue connecting the both hemispheres, that we call as a corpus callosum. Then the second part of brain also completed. Then hindbrain. In this hindbrain, the hindbrain first part, cerebellum. This on the adjacent side it is there. Cerebellum inside, tree-like projection is there, grey color tree-like structure, that is the arbor vitae, that part you have to remember. Later, second part of the hindbrain, fons spheroli, later last part, medulla oblongata. These medulla oblongata come through the foramen mugunum, it leads to in the form of a spinal cord. This is the diagrammatic explanation. And then I said in the brain, three different places, four cavities are there. That four cavities are, first two cavities are present at the place of cerebral hemispheres. cerebral hemispheres are 4 brain only na. In that cerebral hemispheres, 2 cavities are there because of right left cerebral hemispheres are there na. So left right individual ventricles or individual hemispheres are having the individual cavity. Here brain cavities we call as a ventricles. Okay, not heart chamber. Here ventricle, similar word with heart ventricles, but meaning is different. Here brain cavities we called as a ventricles. So here 2 ventricles are located on the cerebral hemispheres. Cerebral hemispheres. These cerebral hemispheres located, these cerebral hemisphere located brain cavity we call as a paracele. Paracele. They are located left and right cerebral hemispheres. And then third cavity we call the diocele. It is located in the diencephalon. Both diencephalon and cerebral hemisphere both are belongs to which brain part? 4 brain parts. Correct only na. So in the given 4 brain cavities, 3 brain cavities presence in the 4 brain alone, and remaining 1 more brain cavity, that name was myocele. It is presence in the medulla oblongata. So you remember these 4 words. First brain cavity, paracele. Paraceles are 2 paraceles located in the cerebral hemisphere, and third brain cavity, diocele. It is located in the diencephalon. And then fourth brain cavity, myocele. Myocele located in the medulla oblongata. Medulla oblongata is the hindbrain part. Okay, rhombencephalon part. Correct na. So in the 4 brain cavities, 3 brain cavities are located or existed present in the 4 brain. One cavity, that mesencephalon, located on the medulla oblongata. You can simply remember M, mylo, starting with M kadanana. So myocele located in the medulla oblongata, and then diocele. Diocele is presence in the diencephalon. So starting alphabet letters are same. If you remember these 2, automatically paracele will remember. Paracele is presence in cerebral hemisphere. This is our brain anatomical understand. Now your question, sir, in the cavities of these brain, what is there? What it is existed? The brain cavity is filled with one fluid. That fluid we called as a cerebrospinal fluid. Cerebrospinal fluid. That fluid play an important role in the reduce the friction in the inside of the brain. Okay, and some of the significant significancy also is there. Cerebrospinal fluid. In the next video, I would like to explain about that significancy of cerebrospinal fluid and what is spinal cord, what are the continuation of these after completion of the human brain. We are going with peripheral nervous system. Okay, let me wait up to next video. Okay, thank you.